Hey guys, Dave here. Just a quick little note before we start our show is we got some audio, some slight audio problems on this show, so it's going to sound a little bit weird. We did our best to smooth things out, so, just kind of know that going in and enjoy the show. Today's episode is brought to you by the NBA Store. A new year brings the start of a new NBA season. Suit up with the latest gear to show your support for your team. We may be sidelined from going to the arena, but that doesn't mean you can't watch basketball from your couch in style.
We're partnering up with the NBA and Podgo to bring our listeners up to 75% off select items. Yes, you heard me correctly. Go to Podgo, that's podgo.co/NBA for up to 75% off select items from the NBA store. The NBA, where amazing happens.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass so hard that the next Bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 257. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. For as little as $1, you can support your favorite gaming podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
Dan, I have seen possibly one of the best TV shows that I have seen in a long while. Can you guess what I saw?
Finally been watching WWE SmackDown on Fox on Fridays. Finally, I got you in the
as entertaining as Roman Reigns is. I don't know if I can dedicate that amount of time, but
okay. Well, I'm impressed that you know who he is.
Come on now, I know Roman Reigns and Findlay, and I know some modern dudes.
Wait, Findlay? Who's Findlay?
Findlay? Fit Findlay? Isn't he? Fit Findlay? No.
Finley is from like the WCW days and like the late.
And then I'm thinking of Sheamus, maybe.
There we go.
Okay, Sheamus. Sorry, yes, they're two vastly different people.
Yes.
What did I say? Fit Finlay. Sorry, Sheamus.
Okay.
And
Finley, I liked him in WCW. I didn't really like him too much in WWE when he came over and he had like the leprechaun with him. Like I didn't really like him then.
Yeah, that was a little.
I liked him as like the badass dude kick your butt in WCW.
Right.
Lower tier. Like he was always in like the TV title.
Yeah, but he was solid. He had a good gimmick. I liked him.
So you subscribe to the WWE network, and that's the show you've been watching.
No. Okay. So the delayed MCU universe Phase 4 kickoff and all of that, like after Endgame, right? It was like, all right, now we're moving on to Phase 4, and then the zombie apocalypse hit, so everything like got moved. And
we didn't get the Black Widow movie that was supposed to come out this year. Right, and all the MCU TV shows were delayed because they were all supposed to be during the summer. Yep.
So there's Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to be out by now, and the other one, which is the one that I saw, WandaVision, is bananas.
Really, it's that good. It's that good.
Well, okay, I'll say this. you made a prediction a bunch of episodes ago about something that was going to happen to the MCU, or something you thought was going to happen in the MCU. And you thought it was going to be, okay, they're going to do it this way, and here's how they're going to bring it in. And they did it. That's all I can say. Like you kind of know
I already know.
Yeah.
What you're talking about.
Do you?
The last movie that came out, that was the MCU movie, was Spider-Man.
Uh-huh.
Right? So, yes. Okay. All right.
And it's very interesting. Okay. So without,
I was right. I just wasn't right about when.
Yeah, exactly. And also the how. But they did it. And I guess you can kind of get, I'm trying to dance around it for the people who haven't seen it, but you can kind of guess, like, the thing that I'm talking about without saying it. It happens a couple episodes in. It's a little bit of a slow burn in the beginning. I mean, you know the concept of the show, right?
Well, I know that they're stuck in a bubble that the Scarlet Witch has sort of created.
Yes.
I don't know how Vision is back because the Infinity Stone was destroyed.
Yes. Yes. He is technically dead, or he's supposed to be dead. Yes.
Okay. So I don't know how he's in. I don't know how he's back. I don't know how he's back. But okay, so that's I mean, but it's like the TV show is sort of like it goes back to different like eras of the old school TV sitcoms.
So they'll do like one in the 50s and the 60s, and they're like, oh, this is the Brady Bunch era. This is like the Dick Van Dyke era, right, or the I Love Lucy era.
Say that 10 times fast.
I know. I'm good. But it's wild, and they bring in, there's so many things that they bring into it. Like it's crazy. So by the time you get to episode 5, I think episode 6 is dropping tonight or tomorrow, maybe. By the time you get to episode 5, you're going to be like, wow. It's super good. It's got super high production value. There's a lot of nods to everything that's going on. It all kind of fits together. It's too good.
So good. Now, let me ask you a question. You got Falcon and
the Winter Soldier.
Coming up, right? Now we already have WandaVision.
Yep.
They officially have the rights to Daredevil back.
They do.
Do you think they should redo Daredevil sort of in that image, like the WandaVision sort of? They don't have to do exactly what they do, but like that style of production, or should they bring back the Netflix style, dark and gritty?
Wow. I don't know, because like WandaVision is so different than like everything else.
Well, it's different. I mean, it's different, but it's sort of, that still has that like level of production. Like it's not like if you die, you're not gonna like really die, right? You're gonna die in sort of like a funky, like not funky, but like in a character. Not in a dark and gritty way, right? You're not gonna get beaten to death,
right? It'll be a PG-13 death as opposed to a rated R rip your spine out death. Yeah.
I still want that. I mean, look, and the Marvel, they're bringing back comic book wise the Defenders. And in the comic book, if I think if I remember correctly, it's going to be centered around Doctor Strange. So it's like Doctor Strange and the Defenders. Remember, they're all one piece of like New York, right? Like Luke Cage is in Harlem, Daredevil is in like Hell's Kitchen, even though both places aren't crime riddled like it was back in the day.
Right. Well, I mean, he's been around for he's been cleaning up the crime all this time. That's why Hell's Kitchen's so nice now.
and then they come together in the comic book with like Doctor Strange, which they could theoretically do like in the TV show.
Right.
I would love to have that dichotomy of like that dark and gritty MCU, like, right, and then you have the light and bright MCU with like the WandaVision show, and then you have like the super you could have like a creepy style movie or TV show even with in the Doctor Strange universe. Sure,
they can make it work as long as like the team up movie, as long as they make the team up movie like big like Endgame. I think they could do that, right? Because like Ant-Man was different. Ant-Man was a action comedy, right?
Yeah.
And WandaVision, for all it's like, WandaVision gets a little dark. WandaVision gets a little dark. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
I know they brought back sort of that sidekick from Thor. The Thor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Kat Dennings character. I forget her name, but she's badass in the show.
Does it make sense of why she's there?
100%. 100%. Well, I think the thing that they said was like she was off studying and getting her like doctorate and whatever else. So she was off like doing her education thing, and then they're like, "Oh, we need to bring in an expert, right?" And then she comes in to like do some stuff. So,
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So, how's your weekend been so far, Ned?
I discovered something that's going to change my life. It's going to change your life. It's going to change anybody's life.
You've discovered sliced bread?
Sliced bread is the most amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just slicing anything that's like any type of bread, just slicing it is like amazing. You put butter on it, and you put it in the oven, and it gets toasted.
Oh my God, you're blowing my mind right now.
No, Target has same day delivery on items.
They are trying to do the Amazon thing, huh?
We're trying to go to Amazon route. I don't live too far from a Target, and I wanted some more PS5 games because I don't have that many PS5. There's not a lot of next gen games out right, for PS5 or Xbox.
No, so, it's limited. It's like 20, 30, and most of those are cross gen.
90% of those are cross gen.
Yeah.
It's only literally a handful of games that are exclusive, and they're all for the PS5.
Right.
No. One. Okay, the medium
is out. Yeah.
The medium is exclusive to the Xbox Series. Actually, the only one. But they have their program just like Amazon. If Amazon was, I don't even know how much it costs now because it's just an automatic renewal. $67, right? $67.
No, it's like $120.
Really?
It's like $120 a year. Yeah. I think it definitely went up a little bit over time. It used to be $100.
All right. So Target has a thing where it's $100 a year, or $10 per like
delivery
shipment.
Okay.
Yeah, delivery. So I ordered a bunch of stuff, and I got a video game, and it tells me it's going to be there between 8 and 9 o'clock.
Right.
8 o'clock the earliest, and 9 o'clock the latest.
Our window is pretty good.
And they delivered it at 8:01, like she was here. And you can put special instructions. I said, leave it in my mailbox and text me when you drop it off. And I got a text. It's like, it's just like Uber Eats. She texted me and said, I just dropped it off, and it was in my mailbox. It was awesome. And I didn't need to go, and I paid $10.
I wonder, because I highly doubt that they have their own fleet of delivery trucks. I guess they're doing it like Uber Eats, right? Where they just hire people to deliver.
Thing. I think they partnered with the app Shift.
Okay.
It was like it had like a Shift app, like a Shift logo.
Is that like a delivery service? Yeah.
I guess so.
Okay.
Shift with the Y instead of I. They got to be fancy.
Of course.
Just like Lyft has a Y instead of I.
Exactly.
So it was amazing. Like they delivered it. So I was trying to get it delivered. I was trying to get a Super Mario 3D World. I was a Fury delivered, but that was available to deliver, but the Amiibos weren't. The Amiibos weren't available, so that kind of sucks. I had to go to the store to get it because I wanted the Amiibos too.
Yeah, of course.
Dave, it'll change your life. It'll change your life if you live next to a Target.
I do, but there's a couple stops away on the train. But I don't know, $100, another $100 a year, which if you break it down, it's less than $10 a month. But I don't know. I don't know if I need it. Amazon does me right. I gotta say, I don't.
In a pinch, because you do go to Target a lot. You do go to.
I do. But I make it a trip. Well, I'll go to like the Goodwill and the Salvation Army, and because they ain't going to be delivered anytime soon. And then I go to the Target over at Atlantic Center. But sure, this would definitely save me a lot of time and money.
Especially if you're gonna pick up something, it's like semi, big in stature, right? That you have to take on a train.
That's fair.
By car.
That's fair.
All right. So Dave just changed. You just you give me a compelling argument to get Disney Plus again because I definitely want to watch WandaVision.
Oh my God, it's so good.
But I just changed your life.
You did.
Target same day delivery.
I'm gonna check it out. It seems interesting. I'm still a little on the fence about it.
I know you're Amazon till you die. I know.
I mean, it's just I order everything on Amazon. I'm terrible. I'm terrible.
Amazon. You're just like Dave. Just get it on Amazon. I'm like, no, it's Amazon's sold out. What am I gonna do? It's sold out. Target has it in the store.
Right.
Get it delivered.
Right.
All right, Dave. We have an awesome show this week. We're gonna talk about CD Projekt Red being hacked.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about Seamus Blackley pitching a new crazy Xbox console idea online that has me intrigued. I'm not gonna lie. I think we're gonna be on opposite sides of the fence in this one. We'll talk about that later. But let's begin with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Now, I just after talking about I needed to get PS5 exclusives, some PS5 games, because I really have nothing to play. That's super compelling. I've been playing old games, and I hate playing old games. So I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about this one because this is actually a PS5 exclusive.
Yep.
And it finally got a release date. It's coming out June 11th. E3 time, right? Ish. E3 time. We'll talk about E3 a little bit later in the show. I'm super excited, but also confused because Ratchet and Clank, they showed it at the PS5 jump off event, their E3 event last year. We jumped through worlds seamlessly, right? It's a PS5 exclusive, but everything else seems to be sort of next gen and current gen, last gen and current gen, right?
Right.
Sackboy, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and even Horizon 2 is coming out on the PS4 and PS5.
Yeah, that's the interesting one because that's like, big whatever. I think maybe that has to do with the game engine, right? The Decima engine, I think that's built on, which is what Death Stranding and DayZ and a couple other games we're using. So maybe it's got good scalability there. I can only assume that's like part of it, and they've probably been developing it for a while. So they've been developing it on current hardware, maybe at the time, which was the PS4. I can only assume, though. I don't know.
No, you mean it was developing with the PS5 in mind because it's not coming out on the PS4. So. Well,
no, I mean Horizon. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can only assume why that one's current gen, next gen. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's good that Ratchet and Clank is next gen only, right? It's a reason to get the system.
Well, I guess my point is just make everything next gen. If you want to play Miles Morales, you want to play Sackboy, just make it all PS5 exclusives.
Right.
I mean, I guess Ratchet and Clank just can't play on the PS4 because of just the game mechanic of jumping through time. I mean, the load times would be pretty long on a PS4 compared to it being seamless on the PS5.
I mean,
the PS4 just can't run it. That's the only thing I could think of why that's the only game that's exclusive.
Right. Like, technically, I think they're rendering two separate worlds at the same time, right? And you just kind of like pull one into the other. So I think you're right. I don't think the PS4 would be able to handle all that power. Like, they're like, no, we're going to make this the next gen showpiece. And it shows. I mean, if it matches that like hype trailer that they put out last year, it's going to be a great game.
It would officially be the third exclusive for the PlayStation because Demon Souls remake, and there's Demon Souls remake and what's the other game?
Well, Spider-Man technically.
Godfall.
No,
Spider-Man you can play on both.
Well, okay, sure.
Yeah, no. It's Godfall, Demon Souls, and
now Ratchet and Clank.
And now Ratchet and Clank would be the only for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
For the PS5. So yeah. I'm super hyped. It's coming out during E3 time. I'm definitely pre-ordering it.
Oh yeah, same.
I'm a little annoyed that they're pushing this all digital future on us. There's a digital special edition.
Oh, weak.
There's a digital special edition.
Weak. So they can sell you more megabits of space for what? Oh, we're just gonna take out more hard drive space and not give you anything physical with it. Okay.
No. You can get physical stuff too.
Oh, you can? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Weird.
All right. So seeking the games that that can't handle systems. Axiom Verge 2. Axiom Verge. I think every system can handle Axiom Verge too, right?
I mean, yeah, it's not a very high-powered game, and that's not to say that it's bad by any means, but it has a very old-school pixel vibe to it, right? And it was beautiful. The first one was beautiful.
I love Axiom Verge. I mean, I beat it on the PS4.
Yeah.
I have the special edition on the Wii U.
You're the one that told me to get it.
I have the special edition on the Vita, and I have it on the Switch. So I have it on every system. It didn't come out on the Xbox, weirdly enough. It never came out. If it did, I would have got.
Oh yeah.
I got a copy. I would have got a copy of it. It even came out on the Vita. Think about it. Vita. So,
which is crazy.
Since they announced it last year, I've been looking forward to when we're going to get a release. And it was supposed to come out this year. No, it was supposed to come out last year, and it got delayed until I think this year.
Yeah.
But when it does come out, at least for the time being, timed exclusive, it would be exclusive to the Epic Game Store.
Wow. Tom Happ got a big sack of money. He got a big sack of money. Well, good on him.
Well, remember, I think it's I don't know if it's running on that same engine, right? Because when you go to Epic Game Store, I think it's a 14% instead of like 35% or 30% to Valve. So they only get a 14. Epic only gets 14% cut. So you get to keep more money.
You do. Yeah. They have a much better profit sharing situation over there for sure. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't fault Hap for doing what he does. It sucks that we have to wait. That kind of stinks because you were the one who got me hyped for the first one, and it is an amazing game. Like it's definitely a Metroid game with heavy alien influence, even though Metroid also had the alien influence, but it was really cool. I can't wait to play 2 because we're supposed to get the origins of the universe, right? The Axiom Verge universe, and kind of uncover more of the story. So that's kind of cool. And looking at like some of the screenshots, there's a screenshot of him up in the clouds, like looking at some weird statue. So yeah, I want to see what that's all about. Yeah. Yeah,
sorry,
that was good.
It was supposed to be released in 2019, and it got delayed. But it was a release on the Nintendo Switch.
Right
now, it's coming out probably later this year or early next year. It's going to be Epic Game Store exclusive. So
right,
and this is a game I definitely going to want a physical edition. I love.
Oh yeah,
I almost 100% it. The first one.
Oh, that's right. You missed one square, right?
2% of the map is the only thing I'm missing. And I can't find out where it is.
That's upsetting. And
I would 100% that game. I'm super annoyed at that.
I feel you.
How do you feel it being just an Epic Games exclusive? I mean, listen, he's getting money that he's saving money on putting it on Epic Games, and he's getting money obviously for the exclusivity.
He got paid for the exclusivity, yeah.
Yeah, and he's getting that money as a one man show. He's doing everything. And I feel I'm okay with it if he's going to use that money to bring it to consoles and say, you know what, I got some more special features coming up for you. All right, like I'm going to use if it's going to be on the PS5, we're going to utilize the DualSense controller. Right?
That's yeah. I highly doubt he's gonna do that with his extra money, but
it's just an example.
Sure.
If it helps, if the extra money helps even bring the games to consoles. Right? Then I'm super excited.
Well, hey man, I mean, I
can wait.
It's a one man team, right? It's Tom Happ. He's the guy who's doing it. Just like with Cyber Shadow, right? It's a one man team, right? And it takes time. That's partially why the game got delayed, right? Because it takes time to build it, and he's got other stuff to do, right? So I get all that, and I get Epic Game Store. Here's some money. And I get Tom Happ saying, yeah, I'll take some money from you. What sucks is that the gamers have to wait, right? Because, if you don't own a PC or you want to play it specifically on like your big screen on a console, or on like a Switch or a PlayStation or whatever, you got to wait. So we're going to get it. It's just another 6 months or whatever the exclusivity time is.
I look at it this way. It's in early access right now. And
right.
It comes out, and the game comes out, and it's going to be released on everything at the same time. It'll be better for it, right? Give it a little bit more time in the hopper.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at it.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go ahead and buy it if it's in early access. Try it out, and see what all the fuss is about.
No. I'm saying I'm looking at it like it's in early access.
Oh, you're looking at it like it's in early access.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's in early access. Obviously,
all right.
It's being released on Epic Game Store.
I thought it was out already. Yeah. Okay.
No. I'm looking at it like it's like an early access stage.
Okay.
And then and then he's putting it. Listen, if it's a year exclusivity, he's gonna have how much time to work on it. Maybe fix some tweaks.
Sure.
Make it maybe even make it a little bit better before it comes to console. So, I look at it that way. Dave.
Yeah, sure.
As we always try to start the show, but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Well, I got some special stuff, but I'm gonna let you go first on this one, Dan.
Well, I've been playing every game I can get my hands on for the PS5. Because I just need something to play on my PS5. I've already beaten Spider-Man Remastered for the PS5. Amazing game. Definitely deserves more shine. I wish they would have waited to put it out in 2019. I would have fought tooth and nail to make it the game of the year 2019.
It is a very good game. Yeah,
it is an amazing game. I got Spider-Man out, so I didn't want to play Miles Morales again just yet. I just beat it like a month ago. I didn't want to play it again. I already know the story like the back of my. At least with Marvel Spider-Man, I haven't played it. I haven't beaten it since 2018. So I kind of forgot a lot of the story. I remember how it ended, but I forgot how I got there. And I beat the DLC, so that I never played before. So it was sort of new to, that part was sort of, there was like another hour or hour and a half worth of stuff that was brand new to me that I didn't see before. I mean, I got NBA 2K21. I got it for the PS4. Didn't get the upscale PS5. I thought that was supposed to be free, or maybe that was free for a limited time. But definitely didn't upscale it. So I love basketball. I was a big 2K basketball fan, especially when we were at Circuit City, because we would play with our friends at Circuit City.
Right.
Back then, it was the 360. We played the 360.
Yep.
So I've gotten back into that because I sort of waned off of basketball. Being a diehard fan, I was always a fan.
Yeah. I mean, you'd buy it year after year. I remember that.
I do buy it. I have every 2K basketball game ever put out. So I definitely been playing that. Got back into that. Started my career.
Yeah.
And, I feel like a traitor because I've been playing with the Nets, but I want to win.
The Nets. I like the Nets. The Nets are a good team, but I mean, Knicks. Knicks is the team.
Knicks fan. I'm definitely
I know.
Same. I can't. I want them to win in real life, but virtually, if I want, I need Kevin Durant.
All right.
So.
All right.
I did pick up Minecraft Dungeons for the PS4, so I've been playing that on the PS5. Not a bad game. That's actually not a bad game. It's still weird when you boot up Minecraft Dungeons on a PlayStation console in Xbox Studios.
Yeah.
And we're going to see that the other way around when Major League Baseball, the show.
That's right.
We're going to see PlayStation Studios, right? On Xbox.
So well, Microsoft wants to be a service, a games as a service, as opposed to a console manufacturer. So they're slowly transitioning into that, right? We don't care how it gets to you, but you got to sign up and pay $15 a month for our service.
Listen, 10 years from now, we're gonna have Master Chief on the Switch.
Well, yeah.
Nintendo variant of the Switch Pro 2. Minecraft Dungeons, not bad. Linear, story-based Minecraft. Sort of, mindless hacking, slashing.
With a little bit of story sprinkled in. Yeah.
I like my hacking and slashing, and I like that it's linear. So just let me know what I need to do so I can do it. It does get pretty tough when there's so many enemies, because you can't jump in Minecraft. There's no jumping.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, there's no jumping. So it gets, when you have 1,000 spiders and people throwing arrows and zombies are coming at you.
Right.
You have to strategize on how you're going to attack that, because you only get so many arrows.
Right.
So good game. It's one of those, just pop on a podcast and play. I picked up Godfall.
Mm-hmm.
PS5 exclusive. It was the first PS5 game we saw. It's the first PS5 game we saw. It's okay. It's okay. It's not great by any means. It definitely gets super repetitive. You do the same thing. It is like a easy, to me, it reminds me of like a easy Dark Souls. Just, not in that dark and dreary world. You're like, sunny, clouds, colorful, but that same style of, you get 5 enemies on the screen coming at you and you got to dodge, hit, dodge, hit, dodge, hit. Easier Dark Souls. Story makes no sense.
Yeah, it's a throwaway.
The story is definitely a throwaway.
You're really there for the action.
Story. It's like Destiny. The story is irrelevant. It doesn't make any sense to me personally. Okay. But it was good to have a next gen game. It looked fantastic. It ran great. At least for me, it did. So it was buttery smooth. Just the story. I play games mostly. 50% of the time, I'm playing it for the story. Story's trash on a Dave scale.
Wow. All right. That's a hot take right there. But I think that falls in line with a lot of people's opinions on this game.
Listen, it's a good game. It's a good game. I just wish it wasn't the first PS5 game we saw.
Yeah.
And now Godfall is under THQ Nordic because it's a Gearbox game.
Oh, right. It's all come full circle.
Speaking of trash, I also been playing Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Woo! Wow, you did not bury the lead on that one.
I'm like,
okay, tell us about Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood then.
Legit, if I would have just like spun you around and said, here's this game. Don't look at the controller. Tell me what console you're playing this on. What generation? I would have swore up and down. This was an Xbox 360 game.
Ooh. Not even Xbox One generation. You went back to the 7th generation.
No. This is Xbox 360 style game. Now,
wow.
I mean, look, the story is out of this world. You turn into a werewolf, mostly to sneak around. Also, it's a story. It's, back in the 360 days when we had those hack and slash games, and the story was just like super like weird and out of this world. Same thing. The textures, the face animations, 360 all the way.
So this is kind of a budgety. It's got a budget feel.
People are talking and their eyes are just all open and they're just moving their mouths and it's not matching.
No. Feels a little Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yes. I understand.
At least there's no face distortion though. There's no face distortion.
Right. All right.
The only good part is there are parts where you have to sneak around, but there's parts where it's like, all right, you got to escape. All right, I'm not going to sneak now. I'm going to fight.
Right.
And everybody comes awake and wants to fight you. Right now, you're getting into the action part, and you turn into a big werewolf, and then you can fight. That's the only good part.
Okay.
The hub. I get lost while I'm at camp because the hub is like the forest, and I'm like, where do I got to go? I get kind of lost. Definitely 360 game. It's a shame that this is like a next gen game, a launch game for next gen. It's okay. Listen, this is one of those. It'll be a hidden gem one year. It'll be a hidden gem. Like, okay. You know what? Play Werewolf. Not even a hit. Yeah, no. What's below a hidden gem? That's what this game.
It's lost in the shuffle. I don't know.
There you go.
There you go.
That's the type of game this is.
It's a very average game from that era.
You know what? That's what we're going to coin it. It's a very average game. I like that. All right. Very average.
All right. I'm gonna pass on this game until it's $5 at Goodwill. All right.
I would say pay $10 when it's $9.99 on sale
at GameStop.
Pick it up.
Okay.
So Dave, what have you been playing?
Well, I got back into Doom Eternal on the PC.
Ooh.
Somehow, some way, I was having some issues where the game wouldn't load. I don't know if there was a patch or a thing with the client, right? The kind of Bethesda thing, loader or whatever that you have to get into to like boot the game up, but it wouldn't go. So I was like, ugh, not going to deal with this right now. I came back to it and there's been patches and this and that. So I'm like, yeah, I got to go ahead and beat this game. I got to be pretty close to the end. I maxed out a lot of the weapons.
You should tweet at Phil Spencer and said, yeah, this Bethesda Net thing.
It's no good.
Can't play games without logging into your Bethesda Net account. Yeah, kill this, please.
Yeah, no, it's not great. It's not great. That aside, I'm making some progress. I've been playing on hard mode because I like the punishment. So there's that.
Oh my god! It's Valentine's Day weekend. Dave likes punishment.
Oh Jesus, no! I was wondering where is he going with this? No, whips, no chains. No whips, no chains. I just
no whips, no chains, but chainsaws.
Oh God, no, definitely no chainsaws. Unless I'm the one wielding it. Christ, I would shit myself. No, it's I got to be pretty close to the end. Another like 5 hours, maybe the game is over. Right, I'm in the depths of hell. I'm way down in it. F those Marauders. That's all I have to say. They are terrible. I don't like their mechanic. They're very hard to beat. They can go to hell. Well, they're already in hell. They can go further into hell. So yeah.
All right. Well, I'll be honest. I haven't gotten into it since I stopped playing it for Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, right. Because they came out the same day.
Yeah, I played that first.
Mm-hmm.
Got my fill. Popped in Animal Crossing,
and he never looked back. Yeah, it's a great stress reliever because like I'll put the headphones on and like max out my speakers. I'll crank everything up and I'll just like go, and I'm just like just whacking with the chainsaw and ripping the heads off, and I'm like, all right, I feel good now. So 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour in the tank, I'm good. Everything just melts away.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I've been playing something else, and we're going to bring back a segment that we've let go dormant for a little while, and that's the Indie Game Spotlight. The Indie Game Spotlight is a chance to take a game, an indie game, obviously, and kind of, a game that we enjoy, and we want to throw it up and kind of give it some shine. All right. And the game that we have this week is The Gardens Between. It is from the Voxel Agents, right? I don't know if you know this studio, Dan, but they've done a lot of mobile games, almost primarily iPhone mobile games. And now they've done The Gardens Between, which is their latest offering, which is available on, I played it on the Xbox, played it on Xbox Games Pass, right? And it's a very hard game to describe. So,
okay, what type of game is it?
Well,
is it a classic game?
You would enjoy this game, I think. Yeah, you would 100% enjoy this game. It's got some vibes of Life is Strange and Fez, and I'll go ahead and say what I mean by that. I'll go ahead and
two totally different styles.
Well, okay. It's got Fez vibes in kind of the way in the soundtrack and how the visuals are kind of presented. And it feels a little like Life is Strange because it kind of takes you back to a certain time, if that makes any sense, right? Because you end up. So basically the story goes, it's you and your sister, and you're in a treehouse in your backyard. Something happens, and you get sucked into this like alternate dimension. So every level that you play is part of your yard or house. And you play it in the round, so you're like going around like an island, right. And they'll be themed, right? So one of them will be like the living room, right? So you'll see like an old school Atari and like a TV, and there'll be like wooden planks and whatever. Maybe there's like a couch, and as you go around the island, you're moving either forward or backward in time, if that makes any sense, right? So, like, if you push to the right, you're going forward, and you'll see things in the background start, like, moving around. So you'll see, like, maybe there's, like, a stack of books, right? And you move forward, and the books start falling over. Or, like, there'll be, like, creatures that are, like, jumping around and moving to, like, different parts of the world. So you can, like, move forward and back. And the idea is you got to get to the end where there's, like, a spot for a little glowing orb. And depending on, it's very hard to explain, right? Because, like, since you're playing as the two, like, brother and sister, right? They can kind of, like, as you're going around the world, they can move, like, in one direction. So, like, maybe the brother takes the high road and the sister takes the low road, right? And, you know, your brother takes the high road, and then there's, like, a thing that the brother can interact with, right? You take the low road, and there's something that the sister can interact with, right? So that's how, like, the puzzle elements come into play.
Well, wait, do you control both? You control both sister and brother?
No, you control moving forward and backward through time.
That's it.
So, yeah, so they
puzzle style game?
It is a puzzle game.
It's not so it's not a side scrolling, like, platformer or action or anything like that.
No. You end up moving in the round. So you're moving around an island. And the island is something from your house or yard, right? Okay. And so every, like, level is themed. Like I said, like, you know, one could be the computer room, one could be the living room or the backyard or whatever. And, like, that's where the vibes of, like, Fez in the kind of style of the game, like the art style and the sound style. And then it's a little Life is Strange because it takes you back to, like, a certain time that makes you kind of, like, feel, right? There's, like, dot matrix printers and old Atari systems and, you know, the ugly, like, shag carpeting and whatever. So it's got a certain look to it, which is, like, kind of cool. But yeah, so you're basically moving forward and backward. And, you know, sometimes the road splits and, like, you know, the brother and sister go in different directions. And, like, there's certain things that you can interact with. So it's all about, like, interacting with certain things at the right time, like, as you're, like, moving forward and back. So you can go forward, oh, here's the thing, I'll hit this, and then I'll move backward, which will trigger this thing, and then I'll move all the way forward. You kind of have to try it and see. It's you know, it's a little hard to explain because there's not really, there's games that, like, kind of are like that, like time manipulation games. This is a unique time manipulation game with a certain aesthetic to it. And, like, both those things, like, super click with me. I was definitely in from the beginning. The levels aren't too difficult, but yeah, it's super cool. And it's also free on the Xbox Games Pass. So if you have Xbox Games Pass, you should definitely do yourself a favor and check this game out. I think it's only like $10 or $15 normally. So, I mean, you can even play it on iOS, right? You can just get it for iOS. The controls are pretty simple. So they translate pretty well to mobile, right? Because it's mostly like touch. There's really like...
All right, well, this is out on Mac OS, Windows, Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Stadia. Funny enough.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's just a single player puzzle game.
I mean, yes.
You like the aesthetics of it.
I mean, at its core, yeah, it's a single player puzzle game. But yeah, I mean, like the way you, like, interact with the game is you're basically moving time, and then you can turn things on and off at certain times, or interact with things at certain times during the timeline of the level. So it's surprisingly deep for what it is. Like, the levels start off pretty easy, but you can, like, kind of see the different ways you can interact with it. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of neat. And they'll throw something completely wild at you on the next stage, and you'll go, all right.
It originally came out in November 2018, by the way.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's solid. It's solid. The Gardens Between. Highly recommend it.
All right. So, on that note, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're getting to the top gaming news of last week.
This is Justin from the Lit Gaming Arena podcast, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers.
And we're back. All right, let's get into the top gaming news of last week. We have to get into our lead story. That's CD Projekt Red regarding Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher.
These guys
just can't catch a break.
Can't catch a break. No.
Apparently, they've been hacked, and the source code for Cyberpunk and The Witcher have been stolen.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Now, some people, I mean, I read a report somewhere that they think it was an inside job, like somebody inside of CD Projekt Red helped
disgruntled employee type situation.
But that hasn't been corroborated, so we don't know how they've been hacked. Then to make things worse, they were sent a ransom note stating that they wanted a certain amount of money, or they're going to release the source code. Which, of course, you never bargain with terrorists.
No,
as we see in every movie, right? You
Yeah,
bargain with terrorists.
Yeah.
Capcom, right, didn't play ball, and they said, "Leak it. We don't care. We can always push back those release dates.
Yeah, right.
We don't have to release it that day." Same thing. Well, this is a little bit different because the game's already out. The game has gotten terrible press because it's shoddy. I've been playing a little bit of Cyberpunk every now and then because I'm afraid it's going to crash. But so far, I kind of really like the game. I really do.
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty good.
When it works well.
But it looks like the hackers sort of auctioned it off, and it was sold. And the auction for the source code began with $1 million.
Oh my god!
Right? And they had a buy it now of $7 million.
Can they do that though? Like, it's not their property.
Well, apparently they did. I mean, apparently they did.
And they sold this on eBay, is what you're saying?
I don't know if it was on eBay.
Oh, okay.
It was definitely.
You were throwing out like buy it now and whatever else lingo. I was like, oh, is this on like? It can't be on the.
No, a lot of auctions, certain items, they have like a high buy it now price,
right?
And then they have like a low bidding price,
right?
Even though the bid may go higher than the buy it now, and that's the chance you take when you put a bid out on something,
right?
Instead of just buying it now. Same concept with eBay, just for high ticket items, right? I actually witnessed, as a side story, art sale, and I forgot who was the artist. Obviously, the artist was dead.
Right.
Usually, art is more expensive when the artist is deceased.
Oh yeah, it goes up infinitely in value because there's only so much out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had like a buy it now price of like $80,000, and the bidding started at like $5,000. And at the end of the auction, the painting sold for $130,000. So if they would have just bought it now for $80,000, they could have saved.
They could have had it. Yeah.
They could have had it. Save $50,000.
Jeez.
So, I mean, what do you think about all this? I mean, they were hacked. Like, I know they put out a shoddy product on purpose.
Well, I mean, they weren't. I mean, yeah. I mean, CD Projekt Red did some kind of shady things by only saying, hey, you can only put out footage of the PC version, or you can only show the PC version. That was a little bit weird because they kind of knew that the console version wasn't that great, but not like they were necessarily trying to be malicious. They were just trying to make their product look the best or put it in the best light possible, which I get.
Even though they knew the product wasn't good on other consoles.
I mean, sure. They were just, I mean, look, they were under the gun. They were trying to make this happen. They were on the hook for previous gen consoles, right? They were on the hook for the PS4. They're on the hook for the Xbox One. When they bit off, they bit off more than they could chew. There was a lot of problems internally. Do I think that they deserved this? No, I don't. For all the faults of CD Projekt Red, I don't think they deserve to be hacked, whether it was internally by a disgruntled employee or from, an outside hacking group. I don't think that's fair. And to also take the Witcher code, because, I mean, come on. They made good on The Witcher, right? They eventually made The Witcher great. And they put out the Game of the Year edition. They put out a ton of free content for it. So they really made good. And I think they're going to make good on Cyberpunk eventually. They'll get to the point. put a ton of free content out, and when the Game of the Year edition comes out, everyone's going to go, oh, this game is great, and they're going to forget about everything else.
All right, let me ask you a question. So
yeah.
You're a tech guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What is it like? How valuable is the source code? I mean, like when we get the game, I have Cyberpunk. Is the source code not in the CD where anybody can take the source code? Like, how does that work?
Source code
why is it so important and so valuable?
The CD has compiled code, wherein your source code is like you can say like, well, I want. You pick up a submachine gun. It had 60 rounds of ammo. It looks like this. It loads in this asset. Whatever. It's a little bit more human readable. The compiled code isn't that, right? The compiled code is code that will actually run, right? It's definitely going to look a little bit different to not get too technical on it. So you could take a look at the final product and try and reverse engineer it, but you're not getting any extra insight into the code per se. It's like, this is what it gets compiled to, and sometimes it's not even human readable, right? If you try and open up an image in a text editor, you're going to get a bunch of garbage because it's a binary file as opposed to like an ASCII file or whatever. I don't even know if that terminology is right, but basically you're not going to be able to read what an image looks like in a text editor per se, and that's kind of what this code is, right? It's kind of a step or two removed from what you would actually be writing, right? So it's not like you're looking at JavaScript or C++ or whatever. So having the actual source code, you can see what all what all the developer comments are. You can see what all the functions are and how it all kind of like breaks down. And you're getting all their trade secrets, right? This is all the stuff that they put together. Like, they have secret sauce that, like, okay, well, we kind of developed this way to, to handle like asset loading very efficiently, let's just say, right? And it's like, well, now you have their secrets, right? You could technically take that and make a better product based on stuff that you didn't develop, right? And you could turn that into your own thing and make a better Cyberpunk 2077 per se, right? Also, you can also take a look at their source code and see where they failed, right? You can kind of pick out all the stuff and go, hang out all their dirty laundry, right? And see like, well, here's what they did wrong here and here's what they did wrong there, right?
Oh, wait. Sort of like Alien Colonial Marines, right? Where it was just... It was like an upside, it
was a spelling mistake. Yeah,
it was a spelling error.
Yep.
Which is why the AI sucked.
Yep. And just kind of fixing that one thing fixed like a bunch of stuff. Sure, you could definitely see a bunch of stuff that's in there that that didn't make. Was that Gearbox who put that out? I think that was Gearbox actually.
It was Gearbox. Yeah.
Yeah. So it did not look good for Gearbox. Didn't look good anyway because the product was shit. But to see that was one of the big problems with that game was a spelling mistake. Yeah, it's definitely not a good look. It's definitely not a good look. So it's not great. They have all the source code. You could technically do whatever you want with it now because you have it. You can compile it into your own game and put out something else with its own skin. And here's Viking Warlords. All right, you could do a ton of stuff with it. Yeah, you can do a ton of stuff with it.
Viking Warlords in 2078.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of feel for CD Projekt Red. I feel a little bit for him. Like, it's not like the big Nintendo leak that happened a couple months ago that we talked about where it was like, here's a bunch of old stuff, GameCube era, N64 era, maybe some Wii stuff, but it was a lot of older stuff.
They're so long removed from that source code and from that game that it doesn't matter, right?
Right, yeah, and it's just like, oh, here's what they were working on. And people weren't trying to be malicious with it. They were just like, we have all this cool shit. Let's see what Nintendo was trying to do. And sure, Nintendo doesn't want that stuff to get out because maybe there's like a bad build of Star Fox Adventures that, that they didn't want anybody to see. And I get that, but people are more curious in that case. Where here, it's like, well, you put out a bad product, we're upset, we're gonna hack you, we're gonna go ahead and take all this stuff and deal with it. So, well, I don't know.
All right, so some people thought that maybe CD Projekt Red, they're the ones who bought back their source code.
Mm-hmm.
They've already put out a statement that they were not the buyers, so they didn't buy it back. they kept to their word that they weren't going to give any money to this hacking group. I mean, once you give in to like a hacking group like that, then that's just open season for them to come take more stuff and get paid, right?
You're right. You're right. Because now it's like you can go and say, well, we're going to hack you again because did you fix the security flaw? Probably not. You know, we're going to go ahead and take some more stuff from you, and then we're going to get another payday after it. So, yeah, it's it's bad news.
Okay. Well, hopefully they can get the authorities involved and, maybe salvage this. I don't know how, but you're right. They definitely didn't deserve this.
No.
Well, speaking of other things that people don't deserve, being locked out of your Google account, people don't deserve that either. I think this is history, actually. This is a historic story. Say that 10 times fast. I don't think anybody has ever been. I don't think a game has ever been canceled because the developer has been locked out of their Google account, which is what happened here.
Okay.
Terraria, the game that came out on everything. I have Terraria on my Wii U. I have Terraria on my Vita, and I even think I have it on the Switch.
Yeah.
That developer canceled the Stadia version because he got locked out of his Google account.
Wow. That is a failure of their customer service. 100%. Wow.
Yes. I mean, who does that? If he got locked out, he's tried to talk to customer service. He hasn't got an explanation, so he just said, "Screw it, Google. I'm not putting my game on your platform anymore." Stadia just can't catch a break.
He apparently had a terms of service violation that was erroneous, right? And he tried to, he tried to log in, although he can't get into your account because it's locked, obviously. And then he tried to figure out, like, hey, what's going on here? After 3 days, right? Or 3 weeks, I'm sorry, locked out of his account for 3 weeks. He's just like, nah, I don't need this. Wow.
Well, I mean, again, Terraria is out on everything. It's been out on everything for a while. We don't know what. I mean, I haven't looked at have they put out official numbers of like the Stadia's like user base? Right? I don't know. If they have, I don't remember. But I can't imagine that it's really high. It can't be that high. Like, is it even worth it? I guess you have to ask yourself: is it even worth it to put it out on Stadia? Right? It's not like he got locked out of his Valve account, his Steam account, and he's like, I'm not going to put it on Steam. I mean, that would be kind of like setting yourself up for failure then, right? Because Steam has a high user count. Yeah. So, I mean, it may be not even waste your time. Just work on Terraria 2. Don't even put the original on Stadia. But I mean, this is just a bad look for Stadia. They're getting hit everywhere every week. They're I mean, they're not going to have any first party games, and a game. Yes, it's out on everything. It's out on everything because people really like this game. This, you would think a game like this at least would be on Stadia, and now it's not. So it's Stadia's loss. They should be on there. Stadia really should be, be very apologetic and try to get him back on the platform.
Right? Yeah. Fix the issue. I mean, like, even if it was like a rando user, right? The TOS violation is not valid. They messed up, right? Or somebody put in a false claim or whatever it is, right? And then he got the worst of it in that case. So, yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Ugh.
Well, let's shift focus. Let's talk about Activision Blizzard. Right? We can't wait for it. Diablo 4. Everyone is just waiting. Look, I think Diablo.
That's going to be good.
Diablo 4, I think, is like waiting for like Half-Life 3. No matter what they put out, it's not going to live up to expectations. It's not going to live up to expectations.
The hype is like way up here. It's off the charts. Yeah,
through the roof. Especially right because I think Diablo 3 it wasn't like the greatest. I don't think, right? Was it Diablo 3?
Yeah, Diablo 3. The problem with Diablo 3 is twofold, and one of those things is the marketplace, which was terrible because you could spend real world money to try and get rare items, and it was a shit show. Like, they basically closed it down after a couple of months because they're like, And then the other part of the game is all the, like, bonuses to all the different items and weapons and armor were, like, very neutered, I guess. There wasn't a lot of unique bonuses. It all came down to, like, 3 main stats. Everybody seemed to like 2 more than they did 3 because there was a lot more unique drops. And it wasn't just, oh, this is better than the other piece, I'm just going to swap this thing out. It was like, I got this cool thing, and it's got this bonus that no other item has. I'm going to keep it. And I think those are the 2 big things that people didn't like about 3. But, yeah.
Well, Activision, while they're shutting down studios and putting all their resources into making Diablo 4, they're also going to put some resources in putting out more remasters in 2021.
Let's hope it's not a Warcraft 3 situation, because that was a bad remaster.
Well, they already have Crash Bandicoot, right? They put out the Crash and Insane trilogy. They put out the Spyro trilogy.
Yeah. People seem to like those a lot.
They put out the Call of Duty Modern Warfare
1 and 2. Yeah, those were right? Well received. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the remasters? What are the remasters they could be putting out? Other than, I mean, I guess Modern Warfare 3. Yeah,
they could do Modern Warfare 3. Sure. And that was like what, 2011, 2010 maybe. That's like 10 years. Yeah. I think that's more than enough time to.
It's been that long. It's been super long.
Yeah. I could see that. I would love to see the Tony Hawk franchise continue. Do like 3 and 4. Because 1 and 2 was
right.
Yeah.
But you could put out Crash Bash. That was
game.
I kind of like Crash Bash.
Crash Bash was the Mario Party game
style game. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, that could be kind of cool with a new coat of paint and some new, Yeah.
And we already talked about they're working on Diablo 4.
Right.
Diablo 3 wasn't well received, so put out Diablo 2, right? Everyone loved Diablo 2.
Diablo 2 would be bananas if they made it with like a modern coat of paint and like, widescreen resolutions and better models and textures. For sure. I would flip my lid then. I would flip my lid if they did Diablo 2 remastered. But
how about this? This is the game that you put me onto.
Yeah.
A long time ago. You put me onto this game. Geometry Wars.
Wait, is that Activision?
That's Activision.
Really? How did they... Oh, Bizarre Creations was the original... Wow, interesting. Okay, yeah. I could see a Geometry Wars remake, for sure.
Or if you want like a first-person style, shooter style game, that's not Call of Duty. Well, this is kind of weird in sci-fi, kind of first-person shooter sci-fi game. Put out Prototype.
Yeah.
Which is we just got to talking about 360 games. This is a 360 PS3 game.
Yeah.
They put a remaster out on the PS4 and Xbox One. Right. Might as well put another coat of paint on it. Put it on the PS5 and Series X.
Right. Throw in some ray tracing, some better visuals. Yeah. I've still never played Prototype. Can you believe it?
I have 1 and 2. 360, and I have the remastered bundle for the PS4, and I still.
Oh. Well, there you go. That makes 2 of us then. We need to make it a point, maybe on the Saturday Morning Retro Show, to play Prototype.
And then, listen, I like Call of Duty Ghosts. So I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was that bad. And I'm not going to spoil it, but I like the ending, the twist at the end. So I want a remaster of Call of Duty Ghosts.
I love the Dan Robinson half-hearted seal of approval. Look, it wasn't that bad. All right,
it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad.
I love it. It's the Dan Robinson. It was okay, but you know what would be great? A remaster of this average game.
It was it's my seal of approval. I thought it was an okay game.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, no, put a remaster out. It's great. It'll sell tens of copies. I love it. I love it.
Or everyone may go crazy for this because it skipped last gen.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero.
Oh yeah. Well,
it didn't. I mean, when I mean it skipped last gen, they did. I think they did put out a Guitar Hero early on. It didn't. Really
there was a Guitar Hero Live. Yeah, which I think is still going. I think it's their platform. The problem with Guitar Hero is the soundtrack license, because you have to re-up the license for all the different songs, and there's like, I don't know, 50 to 60 bands at least per game. So it makes it a little bit hairy, but I would be down 100% down for that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would be too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a company that I thought would put out more remasters, but they're putting out remakes. I want remakes, just like Resident Evil 2 remake. I want just like Final Fantasy 7 remake, and that's Ubisoft. Right? We already talked about Prince of Persia remake being delayed indefinitely. I think that's not a game that's not going to come out until 2022, and it's going to be for current gen, not last gen. That's my prediction on that. My first 2022 prediction. But Ubisoft, they're moving away from just relying on AAA games, and they want to diversify their portfolio of games, and that makes sense, right? Because they really, when they put out a game, an annualized game, it's always like a big AAA thing. Yeah, and if it doesn't sell well or sell to expectations, it's considered a failure, right?
Exactly right.
I mean, look at all the Assassin's Creed games, right? I mean, we had that point where we got Assassin's Creed every year for like 4 years straight.
I was just gonna say Unity was a shit show, and that's when they said, "Hey, maybe we don't do this every year."
Well, it wasn't critically acclaimed, and it didn't sell to expectations, but it still sold really well, better than most games would love to sell those units.
I know, surprisingly, even though there was some Mass Effect Andromeda stuff going on with the faces.
Well, not everybody experienced that. I never experienced that. Right?
Yeah, there was some bad. Like, you would see like the inside of their face. It was weird. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm 100% about this, right? Because, and I mean, it's out now already. The Scott Pilgrim game, 100% indie game. Everybody loved this game. Ubisoft was the company that produced this game. So, if we get more games like that, are less AAA and more like kind of bite-sized in a way, I'm in. I'm in.
Well, here's why I'm excited about this news, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you always go AAA, you go, especially when you want to annualize, because Ubisoft wants to annualize a lot of their franchises. Right?
Oh, sure.
They don't take chances, and we don't get innovation, right?
Right, because you only have a year, and you got to play it safe. Yeah.
I mean, look at Call of Duty. Call of Duty got stagnant. I think they're going to get stagnant right now because they really only have 2 development teams. They had 3, and they took one away. So now it's like you only have 2 years instead of 3 years, which I think is a detriment to the. There's going to be a detriment to the series going forward.
Right.
Which is why that 1 year, Black Ops 4, we didn't get a story mode, and I had to break my tradition, my holiday tradition.
Yeah, well, they decided the 100-man battle royale is the way to go.
But that's a style of game that Ubisoft doesn't have. Division was supposed to be that game for them, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Primarily because they want sort of the AAA route on that instead of sort of making it sort of free to play and building upon it and building a community and building a base. I think if they would have made it free to play, I wouldn't have played it, but they could have got an audience out of it and built it up to be sort of like a Destiny or a Fortnite of that style, right?
Sure.
Maybe not as popular or as big, but they could have made it where it would have been big enough to sustain them.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting point, and they could have totally monetized that through the microtransactions, buying different outfits and whatever else. Like they could have 100% done that. Yeah.
So,
or
they could just patent some game mechanics like WB is with the whole Nemesis system.
Oh, yeah, in Shadows of Mordor and all them. Yeah.
How do you feel? We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about them actually patenting a game mechanic?
I mean, that's a Whoa, I think that's a discussion for another day, because that kind of feels like Sega suing whoever made the Simpsons Road Rage game over the arrow system, right? The check waypoint system or whatever it is. Yeah, I think that's a discussion for another day.
Well, true, but funny enough, Sega still owns that patent and technically can still go after anybody, which is most games,
right?
Has the checkpoint system, right? Like, I mean, I was playing a terrible game, Werewolf Apocalypse, has a checkpoint system.
It's ubiquitous. It's ubiquitous. You need to have some sort of indicator to figure out where to go. Like, I mean, and I don't want to get into it right now, but yeah, I don't actually know how I feel about that, because they did put a lot of work into it, and it is a very what's the word? A very organic story. Like, you basically build the story as you play the game based on what you do and who you fight, and all the enemies are procedurally generated, but they're unique in a way, and they remember you. Like, if you get killed by a guy and you come back, like, there's a lot of really cool new things that they did with that game. And, you know, they obviously want to protect their, you know, IP, right? Their intellectual property in this case. I don't know. It's an interesting question. It's definitely something we should dive into further.
Maybe we'll talk about it on another show, but something that we need to dive into right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's E3 2021. The ESA has confirmed that they will be having a digital event for E3 this year in June.
Yeah.
Problem is, well, just a little bit of history. The world quarantined in March of 2020, so we're coming up on a year of quarantine.
Oh, it's the 1 year anniversary.
1 year anniversary.
Bust out the champagne.
Yeah, we got one more month. We've been quarantined for 11 months straight now. So I can understand why the ESA didn't have a digital event for E3 last year. They tried, but again, they tried last minute, like in April, right? Mm-hmm. 1 month, almost 2 months before the show. So that wasn't going to work, because people usually put the E3 presentations and plans together like after Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of early prep.
It's a lot of work, and a lot of money, which is the problem with the E3 and ESA of 2021, because even though it's an all digital event, they still want you to pour in six figures. Yeah, that's minimum. What, six figures is $1 million? No, six figures is a minimum of 100,000.
That's still a lot of money. For what though? There's no physical stage. There's no, like, are they providing all the are they providing a stage still, just minus an audience? I would like to see. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, from what I can tell, I think it's just, you know, to have a spot on their show, because they're going to get all eyes on them, obviously.
So your
marketing power behind it.
Okay, so you're basically paying for the prestige of being on the E3 stage.
Correct.
Virtual stage in quotes. Yeah. Oh, that's tough. Especially since last year, everyone just said, nah, we're going to do our own thing. And then we got...
Well, to play devil's advocate a little bit, because I do agree with you, but to see it from the other side, you know that last year I can understand it a little bit more, because, you know, we were just quarantined. Right. We were quarantined for 2 months when they decided to say, hey, let's maybe try to eke out a digital event.
Sure.
People, at least if you say, you know, you're not going to spend all this money and you don't know what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, right? Digital events really have never happened before, right? At this level, mainstream level, right?
Yep.
It's always been indie events that were, like, you know, sort of streamed, not like a main show like an E3 or a PAX or something like that.
Yeah. They were big events. Yeah.
Big events. And if you say you'll do your own thing, and it doesn't work out behind the scenes, to where it's a good product that you think you can put out, then you just don't put it out, and it's no fuss, no muss, right? Like Nintendo. I think Nintendo took forever to put out a Nintendo Direct because I think behind the scenes it just didn't work out for whatever reason, right? And we've discussed how Japan works at length in other shows. We're not going to rehash that now. But it doesn't matter where you're from. If you don't put out a good product because you have, like this is all new at the time, and you don't know if you can put out something good. You don't know if you can put out a good product. Your game may be delayed, and you don't want to show it yet, right? Because now it's not coming out this year. It's coming out next year, and you don't know how the world's going to be next year. So you can keep it close to the vest compared to you've spent a minimum of $100,000, and now you have to show it because you already spent the money that's not refundable. Right. So I'm just playing devil's advocate for that. I totally agree with you. Yeah. But I can see the other side of the story.
Right. And I think now, in terms of like, how do we do this in the age of COVID, right? I think we've had a year to work that out. So everyone's got knowledge under their belt. And we've got all of last year to say, well, here's how
this didn't work. This worked. This
right. Well, you look at like DICE and the IGN thing and the Jeff Keighley Game Awards and the Summer of Games, and you can kind of pick and choose. Like, well, here's what worked, and here's what didn't.
Jeff Keighley. Funny how you said it. Jeff Keighley said Summer of Games 2021 is happening, and
E3's got some competition.
It's not going to be all summer. It's just going to be a month.
Sure.
So. And remember, Jeff Keighley put that together on the fly as well. And he even said after it was done, he didn't really have any set plans. It was people who contacted him, then he put it out.
Yeah. You kind of, we'll work it out.
He didn't know what was coming out in 3 weeks, right? It was just, hey, they came to me, I put it out that week.
Yeah.
Here, he's had a year to talk to people, and he's already had connections and sort of set everything up to it. It's like, okay, I'm still doing the Summer Games Fest or the Summer of Games, right? He's had these conversations way when the Game Awards was happening, right? In December, January, November. So he can set it up for it could be a month that I'm going to get this contact. He probably already knows Halo Infinite looks great, and he's going to show it, right?
Imagine.
He already knows it.
He gets the exclusive.
He already knows God of War Ragnarok is going to be shown, right? Like he's going to have extended gameplay after they reveal it at the State of Play. Like he's going to have exclusive gameplay at the Summer's Game Fest because he set that up already. So I don't know. I understand why you would pay $100,000 to that point because they need to be recouped on the marketing that they're doing. Right?
Yeah,
so I understand that part. And we need the ESA. I mean, they put the ESRB. They put the ESRB.
Sure.
Together, right. So we need them. We need them in some capacity, and they should be involved. I just think it can be done better, and maybe have some innovative. They need to come to the table with more innovative ways.
Oh yeah.
To market games. So that's my 2 cents. I'm still going to be excited because I don't want the whole summer waiting. Is this going to show? Is this going to show?
Right.
Someone who puts the show together.
It was a bit of a hodgepodge. Yeah, like because we normally do our 3 days of E3 coverage, and we go, okay, here's day one. Here's all the companies that showed their stuff. We break it down. And this time was like, well, we got a little bit of info here and a little bit of info here, and we tried to make it work, but it wasn't the spectacle that we were expecting last year.
I want the spectacle.
Of course, it's great.
If we're gonna get all the news in June, then I could do that.
Yeah,
I could do June instead of a week.
Right. Normally. Right. You want the pomp and circumstance in like a month maximum. I think is as far as we can go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want a month. By all accounts, it looks like Xbox is still on board. I haven't heard anything to the contrary, but I don't think Sony's going to be on board. Sony has their State of Play, and Nintendo is probably going to be on board in a limited capacity.
Right.
Or maybe not. Maybe none of the big hitters are going to be there.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Just remember, Phil Spencer and I forgot the other guy's name. They are on the board of the ESA. So the ESA is compiled of different, different CEOs and executives from other companies. So our last story, I think, is totally awesome, and I'm all for it.
Okay. I wonder why, Dan. Break it down for us.
Seamus Blackley, the creator of the Xbox, actually tweeted a crazy idea to Phil Spencer. Now, I don't know if this is just thought or if this is something, a concept that he was working on, because remember, he was working with Hyperkin to bring the Duke controller to the Xbox One X, which happened, yeah. Which I bought and played with you on A Way Out. I played it exclusively with the Duke controller, the Hyperkin Duke controller. He proposed that they bring back they make a console, an Xbox console remember the original prototype for the Xbox, just the X,
the giant X, which my God, I'm glad they didn't put out.
they bring the prototype shell back of the giant X and put all the Xbox One games on it so you could play.
So like
basically like a NES Mini, except for it's not a mini. It's a massive.
Right. It's a giant X. Yeah.
Giant X.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I would be about this too. Wait,
you gonna be about this? Because you're an original Xbox hater.
I'm not a hater, Dad. I'm just a
fanboy, but you're an original Xbox hater.
I'm not an Xbox fanboy. I appreciate every console for what it is. And listen, I bought the Xbox in 2002, and I bought it specifically for Jet Set Radio. Right? I loved Halo, but I had a bunch of friends who had all the consoles, and we did the multi-link Halo thing. So I got my fill. A terrible controller. I didn't like the Duke. The system was huge. It was the largest system, now usurped by the PS5. And it didn't have a huge, great library, but looking back on it, there's some great games. Panzer Dragoon Order, Sega GT, Jet Set Radio, Halo, Ninja Gaiden. There's some great games. And to have a console that costs.
Keep going. You can keep going with.
Well, I'm starting to run out a little bit. What do you want me to say? Fusion Frenzy.
Fusion Frenzy. Blanks.
Oh God, the Time Sweeper.
Conqueror's Time Sweeper.
Conqueror's Bad for a Night.
Voodoo Vince. You can
keep they already made a remake of Voodoo Vince. Jesus.
You can keep going.
Look. It's if this actually comes out, which I doubt it will.
Xbox is the only one that hasn't made a mini.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Although Nintendo's the only one who's done it right.
Well, we're not talking about quality. We're just talking about action.
I'm just saying, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. I mean, it'd be awesome to get a giant X with the jewel in the middle, right? And it has all the original Xbox games on there. I would 100% buy this. If it's like 100, 200,
all the first party games. I don't think
sure.
Be able to license out
sure.
all the other games.
It'd be a little pricey. It'd be at least $100. I'm assuming it'd be close to $200.
It would be $199.
Yeah, but I'd be about it.
It's gonna be big.
I'd be about it, as long as the emulation is good, and as long as they give me the Xbox S controller. I can't handle the Duke. I can't.
Well, what is it? Well, what if?
Can't handle the Duke. The Duke is a giant potato, Dan.
What if they said? What if they said you can? What if they said you can use a regular Xbox controller, Xbox One X, Series X?
Oh, yeah, 100%. If it was just like Bluetooth connectivity, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Listen, Microsoft would go the extra mile, right? Like, other than like Sony, who didn't even go the actual mile.
They used the European version of most of their games. Oh. 50 hertz. No one's gonna realize. It's fine.
So Nintendo went the mile. Microsoft would go the extra mile and put Bluetooth capability on there, and Sony didn't even go the actual mile. They went short the mile.
They couldn't even manage to get a analog like a DualShock 1 controller in there. They're like, nah, it's fine. Terrible.
I think it's a great idea, and
I agree.
I'm all for it.
Well, all right. I think I think we're going to end on a high note, folks. That is episode 257 in the books. And I want to thank you guys for listening to the show and sticking with us and doing all the good stuff that you guys do. And if you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. Check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.